Heritage Sports. We're here talking about linebacker Aubrey Miller Jr. out of Jackson State. As many of you all know, he played for Jackson State Tigers for the last few seasons. He is now draft eligible. He's declared his intentions to go to the NFL draft. He's already been invited to the Senior Bowl. Let's break down his season. So, as of December 3rd, 2022, he had made 98 tackles, 53 solo, one sack, three forced fumbles, two fumble recoveries, four quarterback hits, five pass breakups, and one touchdown. He was a Buck Buchanan Award finalist, and he had a career high of 19 tackles against Texas Southern. He got busy that game. And he was also named SWAC Defensive Player of the Year. The thing about Aubrey that I really like, this is before researching him, just watching him on film, he's chaotic, and that's what you want in the inside linebacker. You want him to hit people to feel him. You actually see his impact on the game. Now, I did touch on how I didn't see that in the Celebration Bowl as much. He showed up in spots, but not a lot to me, in my opinion. But he gave it his all, and he's been a fantastic player for Jackson State on and off the field. Now, let's get a little bit of his background. Some people may know he actually started his journey at the University of Missouri. He's originally from Memphis. He attended Whitehaven High School and was a three-star coming out. He played 10 games at the University of Missouri, but got injured, missed a few games. During his sophomore year, he played in 10 games, but he didn't get a lot of PT. He didn't get a lot of playing time. And he decided, on his junior season, he got hurt, and then he decided to transfer to Jackson State. He had, first team All-SWAC last year, and the same thing this year, and now he's declared for the draft. Let me just look at some things that were talked about. He plays with, from my understanding of draft scouts that look at him, he says he plays with this organized chaos, and he just definitely wants to inflict a lot of pain to people. And recently he was invited to the Senior Bowl. Okay, so outside of my thoughts on everything that led, the critiques that I have for him is that he's for what people know in the industry, he's a first and second down linebacker. You definitely, have him as a thumper, a run thumper. He can fill. I don't know if he's going to have the hip flexibility to play a lot of special teams, but that's where he's going to make an NFL team if he makes one. But he definitely has NFL talent. He definitely can go to a team and fit in and learn their culture. He seems to be a sponge, and he wants it. You could tell he wants to be there. My only knock is, again, he's a first and second down linebacker in pass coverage. He doesn't strike me as somebody that covers well. Just watching him throughout the year, he doesn't cover receivers as well or redirects them as well. I think he struggles in pass coverage. So you got to think on third downs, the money down in the NFL, I don't think he would be on the field if they're able to switch him out. And with more teams passing, first and second down, he may not be the first linebacker up is what I'm getting at. So let's just talk about his draft eligibility. He is definitely worthy of a decent draft grade, last day draft grade, day 3, and I think he can go to a right situation and get on. But my honest opinion, James Houston was drafted last year by the Detroit Lions. I don't envision Aubrey getting drafted. Now, I can be wrong. Nobody can predict the future. He can have a fantastic Senior Bowl, and I predict he will. Coaches are going to fall in love with him. They'll see how serious he is and how forceful he is. He is a little on the shorter side, but it's not the end of the world for inside linebackers or running backs if they're on the shorter side. As long as he has the weight, the speed to fill holes, and again, if he's chaotic, which he is, and brings his pads with him, he can find his way on a football field. So here's the thing. I don't think he'll be drafted. I think he's going to be a priority undrafted free agent, and I think he needs to go in the right situation. Now, it's funny because I brought up Detroit drafting James Houston. they have done really well with linebackers in his mold. The Rodriguez kid that came out of Oklahoma State, he did get drafted, but he was drafted in later rounds and ended up starting for the Detroit Lions. I see Aubrey a lot in him. He's a little heavier than Rodriguez, but they kind of play very, very much the same. So I could see him fitting into that kind of structure. So if you want to think about, basically, he's a traditional inside linebacker. He could play in 3-4, but 4-3 is his thing. He needs to roam, but that's the thing. He needs to thump, so he needs to be in an AFC North kind of situation. I can see him easily fitting into the Steelers, where they're in the league where they're expected to run, where the Ravens are going to be running, the Browns are going to be running. So even the Bengals run enough where you need that kind of linebacker. So I see him fitting in well with the Steelers, and conversely, the Ravens. The Ravens do use a mixture of defensive fronts. Sometimes they're 3-4, sometimes they're 4-3. I think he can add to that. And Patrick Queen, who's an inside linebacker for them now, he's a LSU grad. He's in that thumper kind of role. He covers better than Aubrey, but if he works at it, he can be a serviceable third down linebacker, I think. So I think prior to free agent, he should be looking at AFC North teams where the run is emphasized more. If you want to go to the AFC West, I don't think he's going to fit in as well. Just give you an example, because the AFC West is a passing division. You look at Russell Wilson, you look at Justin Herbert, you look at Patrick Mahomes, and even Derek Carr. The best running team out of there is the Raiders, and they have Josh Jacobs. And, if Josh Jacobs was featured more, like say if Josh Jacobs was on Cleveland or something, his carries would be even more. Like his yards would be greater than what it is now. So you look at Los Angeles Chargers running back, Eckert, I believe is his name. He's basically, he can run the ball, don't get me wrong, he can run between the tackles, but they use him in so many more ways. He's out of the backfield, screens, quick flares, stuff like that. The Kansas City Chiefs, I can't even tell you who their running back is. I know it's Clyde, but they don't really use him like that. They usually have like McKinnon back there. It's more of a scat back kind of thing, just to say you got somebody back there. So I don't think the Chiefs really want to run the ball. And like I said, in Denver, oh my gosh, what a train wreck this year. They let go of Melvin Gordon, and they've been one of the reasons why Russell has struggled up there is because they can't run the ball. But they can't run the ball. They just don't. I don't know if they don't have the line for it, whatever. But I'm just giving you that conversely. Aubrey needs to go to a conference or a division, where the run is emphasized, where they got good running backs and they're going to run their running backs. Unfortunately, another conference, another division would be the NFC South. They run the ball, whether it's Alvin Kamara, whether it's Cordell Patterson, which I absolutely hate that his number is 84, and Leonard Fournette. So, Carolina, who knows what they're going to do next year and who their coach is going to be. I don't know if they're going to emphasize the run, but those three teams, they run enough. They want to be balanced. They run the ball, whether it's Alvin Kamara, Mark Ingram, Leonard Fournette, those type of guys. That's where the running backs are. So that's where the linebackers need to be. I could see him going to an Atlanta, somewhere close to home. And, Atlanta, I'm sure their scouts have seen Aubrey and been up front with Aubrey. Kind of like Deion was saying, all 32 teams have come to Jackson to look at his players. And I think they, were looking at other people, but definitely Aubrey. And if they're comfortable with him and they could say, hey, here's 5,000, and then let me not say that. There's a pool that undrafted free agents get money offered from. So maybe 20,000, 25,000, hey, come sign with us. I could see him easily fitting in on the Falcons. I could see him fitting in on Tampa. Tampa's, oh my gosh, they have the linebacker, and I believe his name is Devin White. He's been absolutely awful. Another LSU linebacker, but he's just lost a step. But he's one of those thumper types, so he can definitely come in and learn from that type of linebacker. So those are my fits for Aubrey. I think he's going to be. I hope he's drafted, but I think he's going to be top of mind for undrafted free agents, priority free agents, and I think he needs to. If I was his agent, I would have him focus on the teams that are in divisions that are run heavy, such as the ones I mentioned. So the NFC South, the AFC North. So get ready to be in some environments, especially if the AFC North, where it's colder. He's not used to playing in colder weather, but whatever to get that money, whatever to get that check. Anyway, I hope you all like this. If you agree with me, please let me know. If you disagree with me, you want to throw out some more teams, that's cool. If you think he's going to be drafted, let me know too. Put it in the comments. Until next time, Heritage Sports.